I hope I am audible now. So let's read the headline again. So what news is telling us that Center to brings 1,954 border villages in a development scheme. Let's understand this with a story. So imagine we are talking about villages where it's very necessary. The resources are basically given to them, right? So when we are talking about what are the places we are mentioning Uttarakhand here, we are mentioning Arunachal, we are mentioning Ladakh, right? So these villages have very few roads, right, and weak mobile network, no proper schools and hospitals. So people migrating to cities, right? So now with this, what government decided? Government says that okay, these borders are like these are like very important. These are border villages we are talking about, right? So they becomes important for defense. This is why we have to develop them, right? We have to basically give them electricity, internet, tourism, and we have to work with jobs also, right? So now what they are talking about, government is deciding that we will develop these border villages, right? We will enhance them with roads, with electricity, with internet and tourism and all of these things, right? So people can like stay there and they can like remain strong. These villages can remain strong, right? Because earlier what was happening, people were migrating from there, right? They were migrating because of this. So this is the idea that we are basically presenting with border villages development push, right? And this is linked to vibrant village program that will read and understand later also. Okay. Ab dekho, let's understand that what exactly this news is about. So this news is telling to us that central government is basically wants to like develop villages near the India's border under a special program, right? So this is going to be mainly done through vibrant village program, that is VVP, right? So goal kya hai yahan pe? The goal is to give better jobs, electricity, internet and jobs and all the tourism part, right? And we have to stop migration from here, right? And not only that, because these are like border villages, so this is why they become very important for like national security also. We have to increase our national security also by developing these villages, right? So the idea is that if people will live in these border areas, right? So border will become more safer, right? I hope this is understood. What the basic idea that basically this news is presented to us. Now let's understand that what exactly government is doing. So government is basically focusing on national security because development means what? It means security, right? Because India has like a very sensitive borders, right? With China we have Pakistan, right? And many border villages are empty. They are underdeveloped. They do not have resources. When if I am not, if basically I am not getting resources, what I will do? I will move to cities, and that's what basically people did because of poor connectivity, because of underdeveloped areas. They started migrating from there, right? So if villages become empty, so what will happen? Empty can like easily, move in unnoticed areas, right? But if people are living there, so they become eyes and ears for the nation, right? So they can also play crucial, important role when it comes to defense, when it comes to national security, right? So they are going to help army, they are going to help security forces. So development means what? Development means national security. I hope it is understood. After this, the second goal that government is coming up with is reverse migration. As I have told you that no jobs was there, no hospitals, no schools, no roads, right? No internet connectivity. So is it possible for humans like to live there? No, right? So this is exactly what is happening. People started migrating, right? So village basically became empty, and now government wants to reverse this migration, right? And how this reverse migration starts? When people start coming back to their places, and that happens when development starts taking place, right? So it means people can come back and youth will stay there, and villages are going to become active again, right? So this is the second goal, this is the second motive that government is coming up with. Okay? After this economic development, border areas have huge economic potential. Very important, very crucial point. So what happens? Tourism is going to be there, right? Mountains, culture, spirituality, it's already existing there, right? We just have to fill it again, right? Handicrafts, organic farming, these all are existing there. So border trades are also existing there. So if development is going to happen, what will happen? People will earn money, right? Employment will be increased, right? So because of this, what will happen? Local economy will grow. So this is another reason. That's why this area, these border villages becomes important for us, right? So border areas have what? They have economic potential. I hope this is understood. Okay, now let's understand that from where this story is coming up, why we are talking about. So if we have to understand this history, background development in India. So after India became independent in 1947, the country was facing very serious problems, right? I'm going to like take you back when basically all this started, right? Now in 2026 we want to build these villages, but what happened before? So what happened first of all? There was partition, right? And because of this, what happened? We faced violation, we faced migration, we faced instability, right? So soon after this, India also faced wars with neighboring countries, like Pakistan was there, and after that China. So because of these problems, the government main focus was what? We only focused on security concerns, right? Security, right? It means what? That we have to protect borders, right? We have to build a strong army, right? In security, what we did? We started building strong army, right? So because of this, what happened? This defense preparedness, right? Basically, that was on the basis of these armies only, right? So naturally, the government basically gave priority to military and basically to these strategic securities only, right? And when we talk about civilian development, somewhere this was not focused on, right? And this is why the scarcity, the problem that we are facing, right? It goes back to this time, to this 1946. I hope this is understood. Okay, now let's understand that what exactly happened to these border villages. So because of this focus, what happened? Villages near the borders were neglected, right? They were like started becoming poorly developed, and they were cut off from the facilities. Why? Because the focus was mainly on security cases, right? So because when we start seeing them as like last villages of India, right? And we basically see them as remote and difficult areas where development could not happen, right? So that's where this neglection basically started taking place, right? So people basically starting there like as poor with roads, right, and no hospitals, right, and weak schools, and very few job opportunities were present there, right? So this was the reason that people started migrating from there, right? Now, when exactly this turning point came out? The turning point that came out was in 1962. Right. So in 1962, we saw the changes. So now India realized that borders areas are not just geographical edges that we are talking about. No, it's more than that. It will put our development in these border villages, right? So these can be like strategic assets to us, right? We can use them. So finally, government basically started focusing on building these borders, right? They started increasing army development also, but with that they started realizing that we need to improve our logistics also there. But this focus was still mostly on military oriented. For that purpose only, this concern was basically there, right? So civilian life and development, it was still somewhere lacking, right? It was still not the main focus that it should be, but it was not, right? So this is the time that we are talking about 1962, right? After this, what happened? We are talking about Border Area Development Program, that is BADB. This border area development program, another very crucial point. Now, if you might be thinking that, ma'am, if already DADB is existing, where our aim is what? Our aim is that we are going to do basic development, we are going to build infrastructure, we are going to create livelihood opportunities, right? And the main focus that we are basically talking about, that we have to improve roads of these villages, schools of these villages, health centers should be provided, and drinking water. So basic facilities should be like given to these people, to these citizens, right? Now you might be thinking that if this was the goal of BADB, then what might be the problem, right? Then why we are basically still facing this issue, right? So as I told you, this BADB basically had some problems. What was the problem? The problem was, this was the many, coming with a very good step, right? And all the issues that we are talking about, it was like mentioned in here. The aim was this only, right? But the issue that this BADB was facing was that implementation was very slow, right? And with this, funds were also not that much given. They were also very limited, right? So because of this, what was happening? Planning was not very strong, right? So what was happening? Planning was not strong. Apart from this, geographical remote area, that basically was very difficult, right? Because of conditions. Okay. Now, because we had like limited and unevenly villages, right, and who were like struggling with like weather also, resources also, right. So this is why they became underdeveloped, right, and because of this, they were like poorly connected also, right, and another reason they were like economically weak as well, right. So these are the basically problems that and limitations that we faced in BAD, right. Now, after this, there was very big lesson that India learned from all these stages, right? We implemented this, but there was the good, lesson that we learned from here that we are going to implement in this aim, in this 2026 aim that we are like moving forward, right? So, what did we focus on? From all these stages, we learned that border development is not just a welfare issue, right? It is also a national security issue, right? So, all the problems that we have faced in this, we are going to improvise it. We are going to start, working on it, right? If people are going to live there, what will happen? People will like stay, actively there. They can keep an eye on these borders. This national security that can be improvised, right? Now, if villages will become empty, then what will happen? Security will, decrease. That basically fall will be seen there, right? I hope this is understood. Now, apart from this, what exactly this VVP is? Okay. Before understanding what this VPP is, so we have understood that what was the old approach and what is the new approach, right? So what is the like old approach we had? We had like today finally India is like changing, right? From that DABP, we have like understood that how much important role these first villages of India plays, right? It means that villages were not backward patches; they are very important for us, right? So we have to develop these borders. So they are India's frontline of development of security, right? So now this new thinking is coming. This 21st century thinking is coming. That is, border villages are first villages of India. They are not the last villages who doesn't need development, right? They are the first villages of India, and we need development. We need resources more than any other village there, right? Now let's understand that what this VVP is. So after India became independent in 1947, the country was facing the serious challenges I explained, right? So because of this, what was happening? We started building things, right? We wanted to, increase, our basically this northern villages also, right? Northern village states also, right? Like Arunachal Pradesh is there, we had Sikkim and Uttarakhand, right? Himachal Pradesh and Ladakh, right? So all of these areas, we started basically, taking in these programs, right? So when we talk about objective, the objective of this VVP was build infrastructure, improve livelihood, promote tourism, develop skills, and stop migration, just like these villages that we are going to mention in 2026, right? Now, what all development will happen under this? We are going to focus on infrastructure, we are going to focus on social development, and apart from this, we are going to focus on economy as well. As tourism is going to increase because of it, and not only that, cultural exchange will also be seen there, right? States can meet up, they can know more about it, right? We are going to see like local products there. We are going to know about tourism. We are going to know about handicrafts and about all of these things that can come in like cultural exchanges also. When we talk about social development, what do we have? We have health centers, we'll have skill centers, right? All these things will take place. And when we talk about social development, what do we have? We have like these schools, we have these industries. So all these things will take place in this phase. So I hope that you understood that why we are saying that development means security. Why we are talking about this? Because earlier we thought development should take only in urban cities, right? And this is why we focus on these villages on the purpose of security, right? Only on the basis of armies, right? So now we finally realize that no, we have to focus on villages improvement also, as if they will be developed, right? So citizens can play important role in there, right? We are talking about border. So if our borders are not strong, that it means what? It means that we are lacking somewhere in defense, right? I hope this news is understood to you. Now, there is one question that you have to attend. Again, you will get few seconds to see this question and then we'll move with the answer. So the Border Area Development Program (BADB) is implemented only by the Ministry of Defence. The Vibrant Villages Program focuses on villages along India's northern land borders. The objective of such programs includes improving infrastructure as well as reducing migration. Ma'am, third is correct, right? After this, the Vibrant Village Programs focuses on villages along India's northern land borders. Bilkul, I just mentioned you, right? So it focuses on Arunachal Pradesh, it focuses on Uttarakhand, Himachal, Sikkim, right? I've just named these places, right? After this, the Border Area Development Program is implemented only by the Ministry of Defence? No. Right? So this is not implemented only by the Defence Minister. I hope this is understood. So what do we have in the correct option? In correct option, we have 2 and 3, that is A. Is this understood? Yes. Why I'm not seeing answers on chat box and portal? Students, what's happening? Okay. After this, let's understand the need for diversity in judiciary. Okay. Very important and very crucial for you. A, very good. Okay. Very important and very crucial news for you. So we are going to understand with this example. Now let's understand that imagine there is a big classroom in your school, right? And most students are like only from one background, and only few basically students represent girls, and very few are of minorities or poor families, right? And from these rural areas, right? Now imagine that the teacher is basically asking to students that they have to decide rule for everyone, including these minorities, including these basically girls, and including these poor families, right? So they have to include them, and they have to decide one rule that should be like for everyone, right? But the problem is that the student will make rule based on their own life experiences, right? If I'm coming out from certain background, then I'll talk about my backgrounds, right? My problems. How will I know that what this kind of caste is facing, certain issues, right? So I will not be able to understand this, right? So they may not understand problems of poor students, right? So they will not understand the problems of girls. They will not be able to understand the problems of minorities, right? These marginalized groups, right? Now basically replace this classroom with India judicial courts. So this is exactly what is happening. So what this news is telling to us, that our courts, right, from High Court to Supreme Court we are talking about, they are not fully diverse, right? So most judges are coming from similar caste, they are coming from similar class, they are coming from similar gender, right? And not only that, the background is very, economically developed, right? So they might not face that, half of the generation, half of the people are actually facing it, right? Half of the people that they'll be handling, right? So because of this, what is happening? Some section of society feel underrepresented because of it. Courts are not fully understanding about the ground realities of these, marginalized groups, right? So because of this news is telling us the judiciary should focus on India's diversity, right? We should include women, we should include SC, ST, and OBC, minorities, different section of the societies in it, different regions in it, right? All the economic background should be included in this position. Because when judges, come from different life experiences, they are basically understanding about societies better. They will go more, effective result, effective judgment, right? And they can build trust in the justice system. Why? Because they are recognizing each and every problem that this society is actually facing, right? I hope you understood what the basic idea is of this news, right? So what exactly this news is telling to us? Okay, let's understand this with another example. So when we talk about India's system, we have divided this with center, we have divided this with for the state, and then we have local bodies, like panchayat, right? Why do we need this local body? Center, why state and center was not enough? Why? Because they, right, panchayat, these people, these local representatives, basically understand the situation much better of those people who are living among them than the state and the center, right? So that's exactly what the idea is. These judges should not come from different background, right? They should live among those people, so that judgment will pass more effectively and more efficiently and properly without any injustice in there, right? So this is the basic news that we are covering. Okay, I hope the idea is clear to you. Okay, so what we are talking about? We are talking about that we have to focus on caste, we have to focus on gender, we have to focus on the breadth. right? So because of this, some sections feel underrepresented. Courts will not understand realities of marginalized people, and justice will look neutral, but it will not be looked as an experience equality. Why? Because if I'm coming with good economic development, right, background, then will I be able to understand that what casteism is? I have just read it, but I don't know how it feels, right? So this is why it says that different people should come from different background when it comes to this position, right? I hope the news is understood. So if we talk about that, what is written in our constitution, let's understand that. Okay, when we talk about this constitution, so we have Article 124. What does Article 124 talks about? That it provides for appointment of judges of the Supreme Court by the President after consulting the CJI, right? So what happens in there? In basically this, Parliament is basically, after consulting the CJI, they appoints the judges, right? After this, we have Article 216. It deals with appointment of High Court judges, right? After this, we have one more article. Okay. After this, we have like one more article that is 130, and it says that Supreme Court, right? So what Supreme Court does? Supreme Court basically sits in Delhi, right? So this is basically decided, right? This or any other place that is decided by CGI or that is decided by president, right? So Constitution does not mention diversity directly, but it is based on what? It is based on justice, it is based on equality, and it is based on representation. Right? And this is the core idea that this news is giving to us, right? Now, let's understand that what is the evolution that we have seen, what are the changes that we have seen in these judges' phase. So now, what was the first phase that we had? What was the first phase that we had? The first phase is executive control, and this is the time we are talking about between 1950 to 1980. Okay, now let's understand what this phase was. So in the beginning, what was happening? The government had the main power, right? So judiciary was only and only consultative, right? What was the role of it? Only consultative, right? In decision making, judiciary did not play that much important role, right? So this means what? That government could decide, right? And judge opinion will not be, it won't be like binding, right? So this period is known as executive judgment, right? Executive control, right? This was the phase 1 that we have, right? After this, what happened? The phase 2 came, right? The phase 2 is judicial control, right? This Collegium era that came. Is it still the same? Can someone please confirm? Is my voice still lagging? Divyam, Rishabh? Are total students also facing the same issue?
No, ma'am.
Okay. After this, we have phase 2, the second judge case. So what we are talking about, Supreme Court basically, advocates, right, on record legislation versus Union of India. So what happens here? This is known as a historic judgment, right? So Supreme Court changed this earlier viewpoint that was in phase 1, right? And what did it say? It says that judiciary should have primacy, right? So to protect independence of judiciary, and here the Pacific Court created the Collegium system, right? So this what we had, right? So then basically the third judge case came, that is in 1998. What happened? With president preference in 1998, this case clarified that the Collegium system, right? It says that Supreme Court judges, right? We have to include CGI and we have to include 4 senior, most judges in this. And for High Court judges, what we have to include? We have to include CGI and we have to include 2 senior most judges in this, right? So this was a change that we had seen in this. I hope this is understood. Okay. Now, if we talk about today's time, what we are basically focusing, what we are seeing in today's area. So, basically, judges appoint judges, right? So this is known as judicial collegium system, right? Now, how does it actually work? So collegium basically select names, right? And with second recommendation to the government. So now government basically can accept or return a name, right, for reconstruction. But अगर वो नाम वापस दे दिया जाता है, right? Then government must accept the name, right? फिर उसके बाद में वो वापस reconstruction के लिए नाम नहीं दे सकती है government, right? They have to accept the name after that. If after the reconstruction, the name basically came back, right? Now currently, when we talk about now, this system is totally based on seniority. This is totally based on merit, right? And this is based on experience. And another thing is integrity, right? So there is no formal rule for diversity, right? But the problem is that there is less women judges here. There is less this news is telling to us, right? So what are the problems we can face because of lack of diversity? So we can face the issue of gender gap also. If we are, appointing judges on the basis of seniority, right? So this gender gap will be there, right? And another thing is very, few women judges in Supreme Court and High Court are seen, right? And other than second thing is representation gap. SC, ST, OBC, right? They are basically underrepresented, right? So because of this, what is happening? Minority are also seen very, very less, right? I hope this is understood. Okay. Now, after this, let's understand that what is the elite dominance that we have. Okay. Now, when we talk about elite dominance, what is happening? Judges are coming from, as I told you, from other background, right? They are coming from legal families, right? And not only that, they are coming from upper socio-economic background, right? So they may not be aware that what exactly is happening on the ground. And if they have read it, they have not experienced it, right? So this is why it is very important that this diversity is important. Consider important. Why? Because if we have diversity, then better justice will be there. Legitimacy of judiciary will be there. Constitutional morality will be there, right? Decision making will be, focused on, justice, social, economic, political, right? So judiciary must reflect society because of this, right? And not only that, interpretation of law will also be there, right? Judges will interpret laws based on social realities that are existing right now, right? They are going to, focus on lived experiences, right? So this lived experience will cover more and more reality, right? So it will, increase our, this improve interpretations also, right? It will basically open gates for new problems also, and we can work accordingly that with the problem that are actually existing in the society, right? Now, what exactly is the problem in current system? So the problem that we are facing is that because of this Collegium system, there is no transparency, right? No fixed diverse criteria we have, right? No public data, on this representation, right? And selection is totally, and we will say, okay, not totally, but often it, depends on networks and it depends on regulations, right? So this seniority gap, this age gap, and this not considering diversity is, another lacking that we are seeing at judiciary, right? So this is exactly what this news is about. Now, after this, what we can do? If we have to solve this problem, then what are the basically solutions that can come up? So the solution is very simple. First of all, we have to focus on diversity, right? While basically selecting judges, we have to focus on gender, we have to focus on caste, region, and minority status also. What this news is telling us, let's start taking these in conditions also, right? After this, there should be like more women judges, right? So we have to focus more on increasing women representation also. And the third thing that they're mentioning is data transparency. That publish, diversity data of judiciary, right? And apart from this, we have to, focus from like, the basically selection should be like, based on track records on academic basis, and lawyers that should like come from smaller towns so that they can expand, they can understand these experience levels, right? And the news is also suggesting that we have to focus on different, areas also, right? I hope you have understood. So there is one more thing, the division is seen merit versus, diversity also. So there is this controversy which is right on going. So there is one side one that is basically focusing on merit first. So some people are talking about that, judges must be selected on the basis of merit, not on the basis of social inequalities, right? But there is side who is basically talking about that social understanding is very important, right? So this diversity will improve the judgment basis as experience will be included in this, right? So this is why we are talking about democracy and we are talking about diversity in here. This is the news that we have. Okay, one question and then we'll move to second news. So the Constitution of India explicitly provides for reservation for women and SC/ST judges in the Supreme Court. I don't think even I have to tell you if this is correct or not. After this, the second, the Collegium system of judicial appointment is based on judicial interpretation of Constitution. The President of India Supreme Court judges after consultation with the Chief Justice of India. Just now I told you yes. So what do we have? We have First one incorrect, right? Constitution of India does not provide any reservation for women or SC/ST in the Supreme Court, right? Appointments are based on what? They are based on merit and they are basically based on seniorities, right? So no quotas are there. Now again, if we are like including these things and we are including reservation, if we are talking about reservations over here also, then again there will be two sides, one who supports it and other one who does not support it. When it comes to news like this, make that you are understanding in the context of prelims, right? Do not engage yourself in much of these debates, right? You should have your opinion, but make sure that you are picking out the keywords, make sure that you are picking out the articles, and understanding that how it is going to be, implemented in your main answer, and this is it, right? So make sure that you're not engaging yourself with controversies. Okay. Now let's move to another news of today's, that is AI for people applying technology for social good. So if today AI word is coming, so there is just one university, might be coming in your mind, and we'll talk about it today also. We'll understand that what happened there and how AI basically is, affecting our life and what are the changes that we need. And we are going to understand it in the context of basically prelims and mains also. But first, let's understand that what this news is talking about. Okay, let's understand this with an example. So imagine that the small village in India is there, and in this village, farmers do not know that when pest will attack crops, right? Children don't have good teachers, right? And this is unfortunately where they are covered with gadgets, right? They do not have access to education, and patients don't get doctors on time. Now imagine a small helper machine is there that basically comes to the village, and this machine can tell farmers that when you have to, when your crop is basically going to get the disease, right? And that is going to help students also in teaching, right? And help doctors detecting diseases early, right? So this helper machine we are talking about is artificial intelligence, AI we are talking about, right? But there is a problem to this. The problem is most AI in the world is made for like big companies, right? It is made for rich countries. It is made for like profit basis only, right? So poor people and villagers are basically, are often left out of this dimension, of this phase, of this criteria, right? So here, basically, this news is talking to us that artificial intelligence should be like used for people's welfare and not only for profit margins. Like I just told you, that it is basically given to only for economic benefit, right? So it means what? That we should not only focus on big companies, right? Only on ads, only on profits, right? But also solving real issues that are basically happening in ground realities, right? We have to help farmers, we have to use it helping patients and helping students also, poor communities also. So at event, like recent event happened that in India, somewhere AI, in 2026 what happened, India has said that AI should be like inclusive, it should be safe, and it should be useful everywhere, right? Now when I talk about this AI summit, there is one more incident we are going to discuss. I think you all know that what I'm going to say. But then again, you all should have, some point of view regarding this, right? Now let's understand that basically how this technology evolved, like, and what are the things that we are going to see. So first of all, let's understand the background. So when we talk about this evolvement, how did we see? So we had first of all phase one, that is industrial revolutions. So machines were created, right? So this is the starting phase we are talking about, right? So machines were created, right? So because of this, what happened? They were created to increase production and to increase profit. But in this phase, we saw some problems. What was the problem? Work exploitation was basically there, right? And inequality was there, right? Unsafe environment was basically there, right? So this is the phase one. This is the first phase we are talking about, right? After this, we had digital revolution. We had computer, we had internet, we had mobile, right? So because of this, our life started improving, right? But here also there was one problem. The benefits we basically had were unequal, right? So we had unequal benefiting here, right? After this, the third AI revolution. In today's time we are talking about, right? So development happened, some situation happened, and after this we are moving towards more development, that is AI revolution, right? Now we have artificial intelligence, right? Big data machine learning is there, and this is very powerful technology we are talking about, right? because it can transform health also. Just now I gave you example for this, agriculture also, education also, governance also. But now one important question that this news is asking to us, that will AI benefit only rich companies, or we are talking about whole society here? Is it going to cover villages sectors also? And if yes, then how? And if how, then when? Right? So all these questions are basically asked in this news, and they basically try to answer it also. Now, when we talk about, organizations, few organizations like we have ILO, that is International Labour Organizations. So what they say that AI must be like for social justice. It should be for decent work. It should be for equality, right? So here ILO is basically working with countries, right, including India also, and they are working with like global coalition for social justice, right? Now when we talk about India, India has like huge opportunity in AI, right? Why? Because we are holding large population. Whenever there is development, whenever there is benefit, large population pointer comes first to it, right? So we have large population, that means what? We have large data, right? Digital infrastructure will be more and more here, right? Aadhaar, UPI, so all of these we are seeing nowadays, right? So this means what? This means we are seeing a growing up startup ecosystem, right? And also India has a big social challenge. What is social challenge? We are facing with poverty, we are facing health issues also, and there is education gap also, right? And not only that, one important pointer which this news basically mainly focused on, that is on farmer distress as well, right? So according to this news, if AI will be given to these sectors, so development can happen, right? So AI can help in these sectors, right? Now, when we talk about this, let's understand the example also. First of all, let's focus on agriculture, that how it is going to help us in agriculture. Just now in the starting, I gave you example of agriculture that AI can predict crop diseases, right? And also it can like give like weather advices also, improve these irrigation planning also, right? And यही नहीं basically help करेगा farmers को उसका income increase करने के लिए, right? So overall यहाँ पे benefits हमारे पास में बहुत सारे आते हैं in terms of farmers, right? After this, we talk about health. I don't think even I have to mention it, but then ये मैंने जैसे previous class में आपको बताया कि जो हमारा AI है वो detect कर पाएगा TB, right? From X-rays it can detect, right? Cancer को early detect कर सकता है. It can detect cancer in early stages, right? It can predict disease outbreaks also, right? So try to understand that how much important it becomes for us, right? After this, education. Now education, as we know that resources are not fully divided when it comes to country like India, right? Because of large population, resources are not like everywhere. So in education also, it can like personalized learning also, it can identify weak students also, it can improve teaching quality also, and from with this we can enhance our education more and more and better and better. After this fourth point, governance is very important. When it comes to this point, it can play role in it also. How? We can detect fraud in welfare schemes. We can improve our service delivery also, right? And we can work with this AI, so it can help in basically subsidies becoming bigger, making subsidies more and more better, right? So this is why it becomes very important for social good. Like AI becomes very important for social good. I hope you have understood. Okay. As I told you that when we talk about anything, right? Anything in this world, we can pick out anything. When we have benefit, we have risk also, right? And when we have few people who agree with it, there are people who will disagree with it also, right? So now when we talk about its risk, we also have risk. So first is data privacy risk, right? Personal data will be misused, it will be sold, and it will be leaked, right? And to this, I think India just measure, right? Taken one step for this, like I have just covered in the last class. So you just have to tell me in the chat box what is the measure that our government have taken, right? Recently, what measures our government have taken regarding this data privacy. So now we are like covered with our gadgets, right? We are putting our mail ID, we are putting our address, our name, right? So this is why this is the first concern when it comes to AI, that is data privacy, right? After this, bias and algorithm. AI learns from data, and if data is biased, AI decisions become biased. So what happens, when basically India has like already although passed this digital personal data protection act, but then again there are lots and lots of problems that other than this privacy we have, right? So first is this, that bias in algorithm will be seen, right? If you are putting some data, right, and on the basis of that you are getting some information, right, and it will be biased also, right? After this job loss, if in the coming year it can happen that it can replace human jobs, although the AI papers say that it can never replace humans, but it will enhance their jobs, right? After this, what do we have? We have digital divide, poor and rural people. So the core idea of this news that this AI should spread across the region. It should spread equally. But what the risk is, what the problem is, that the poor and rural areas will be left out of this digitalization, right? After this, we have digital divide, we had job loss, we had bias in algorithms and data privacy. So these are the risks that basically we can face because of AI, right? Okay. See, AI is not a machine which can be run itself, right? We need human beings for it, right? And when we talk about AI basically it can be used for good cause also, and it can be used for bad cause also, right? That totally depends on whom, that totally depends on humans, right? And this we have understood so far by understanding this new, we have understood. For good use, how we can use it? We can help society, like just the example that we have read. And for bad use, we can basically create fake things, right? We can increase inequality because of this. We can create injustice because of it, right? We can harm people because of it, right? So that totally depends on whom. That totally depends on us, right? So now what this use is suggesting to us that what we must do. So use AI for people's welfare, for better schools, for hospitals, for health purposes, for government, for development, right? So we should make sure that we are measuring things, fair and in equal basis, right? No one should treat it, unfairly. We have to, basically understand this inclusive development, right? So we have to make sure that these benefits that this AI is giving to us, it should reach to all citizens, right? Now, this is not the only thing that we have to focus on. There is one more thing, that is ethical dimension, which is very crucial and very important when we talk about AI, right? Now imagine that just now I have told you a pointer. The pointer is that it can replace human jobs. Now if we are talking about a machine which can replace human jobs, so it means what? Somewhere it is going to be unethical, right? People are going to people can misuse it, right? So AI basically brings very important issue, very important question. The question is who controls the data? Right? So not only this is there is one more question, that will be benefited from AI, right? We have to focus on justice, we have to focus on accountability, we have to focus on human dignity also when we are covering AI, when we are understanding AI. Right? AI should respect everyone's right? For example, in tech events, universal companies should focus with honesty, right? Showing their AI work, right? And not mislead people, right? And also we have to understand that in India, we have huge AI for different citizens, for different development, right? If we talk about digital India, right? This is the huge success that we have seen, right? AI improved online government services, right? Skill India was there, AI training creates job for youth, right? So there are different schemes, there are different sectors where basically India actually, participated and actually, took place, a good initiative that took place, right? Now, there is one incident which just happened, that is Galgodia's University's incident, AI incident, right? So what happened at the India AI Summit 2026? Galgodia University, showed a robot dog, right? That is called Orion, right? So there was a professor, and what she claimed that it was developed by the university, right? But people noticed it, and it was actually a Chinese robot that was known as military Geo. So university said that robot for student learning, right? And it never said that it was our invention, right? So because of this one incident, what we are learning from it, that always be honest and transparent about AI. Misleading claims can only damage trust, and it can damage credibility also, right? So if you pretend your AI work is someone else, people will find out eventually, right? It will hurt your reputation, and that's what exactly this summit did. This AI summit, which was supposed to be India's, huge success, and and the different reasons we should not talk about this. But now, while they're mentioning this AI summit for this universities framing, right? So this is why it is very important that when we are using these kinds of digitalizations, these kinds of platforms, we have to make sure that we are moving ethically. Right? We are basically understanding the outcomes, we are understanding the consequences, and while using each and everything, we have to mention and understand, what impact it is going to create to the whole society, right? We should not only work with personal benefit and personal, gain, just like what this Wadhwani University did, right? This AI incident just happened, right? So this is what we have learned today, and there is one question, and with this one question, we'll end today's our class. So this is the question that you have. Make sure that you are writing the answer in the chat box. And for the PDF will be attached in the comment section. And this is it for today. I'll see you on the Monday, 8:10 a.m. Thank you.